Hey guys, welcome to another one of our videos. I'm the Worm, this is the Proton. Today we are going to be doing a mechanical mod that we did not receive free of charge, we bought.
We paid for it and everything.
So, no advertisements up here or anything. Maybe we'll put our Facebook and Twitter up here for once.
Ooh, mixing it up.
Yeah, don't know. Depends if we can be bothered.
Indeed. What we're doing today, guys, is the KTS mechanical mod, which we bought from FastTech. We paid, what did we pay?
It's not FastTech, it's FastTech, but it takes like 9 million years to get here, so FastTech.
We paid £12.77 for these each. We got one each. It's basically
exactly the same.
A bottom button, mechanical, KTS wannabe, very, very cheap, but it looks pretty good. So again, FastTech, £12.77. It is a telescoping mod, alright, you can use 350 for, or basically anything between 350 and 650.
No, you can't use it to look at the stars, guys, but yeah, obviously you can use all your battery sizes from the 600 range, basically. So
there you go. 600?
6,000. 16,000.
1,800.
18.
Honestly, 1,800. Whatever.
Takes a battery of some sort.
Indeed. What we've been using, we've actually had these for what, about a week? About a week now.
Just over a week, yeah.
Yeah, about a week now. And to be honest with you, I've been using it pretty much non-stop since I got it. Worm's done much the same. Actually quite liking this one so far. We should point out that the very first thing we did when we got this, we didn't even use it before we did this, but we both took a bit of sandpaper. We sanded down the contact at the top to brass, we sanded down the post at the bottom to brass as well. We was going to sand down the back of the firing pin, but no need to, because it's been changed. It's actually brass now at the back, it's not a chrome plated anymore. So
no, it used to be, didn't it? So
it used to be a chrome plated brass, yeah, now it's actually brass, so we didn't have to do that.
Which I don't understand why they would chrome plate a brass switch when it's brass on the outside anyway. So they've obviously just stopped doing it because there's no need.
Indeed. So we have
obviously this is a locking switch, guys, so you can put it in your pouches and that without having to worry about it. It's not that much of a screw thread, it's literally like 2 turns and it's locked or unlocked.
It's very simple, but
yeah.
Obviously it works. I quite like this because you've got brass at the bottom, you've got brass switch but silver locking ring. Mine at the minute is brass and brass, but there is a
silver bit that goes in the middle on that one.
Yeah, I'm running it in 18500, and with that you can either have that bit there to basically replace the 18500, that way 18500, so it's all silver, or you can have it brass in the middle. I just went with this because I could, basically, which I think I might change now just because I can. We are going to do a wee close up of this mod,
just so you can see it in all its glory and all that.
Indubitably, just why not, basically. Sorry guys, let me just
twinkle about,
and I'm getting juice everywhere. Just I am bloody tank.
It's because he's using the Jenny tank and he's obviously tilting it around and obviously it just falls out the air.
Yeah, my fault. Yeah. It's one of them ones. We're getting back into the room, guys. I've had a week off of doing videos and she's like,
yeah.
It's one of those ones. What should we do? Should we go and do a close up now and then we'll come back and have a monumental flap on the other side?
Yeah, we'll do a close up now, so we'll see you in a second. Well, you won't see us, but we will.
Well, no, we won't see them. They will see us.
But they won't. They'll see our hands.
Indeed. That's very true. Right guys, we're going to a quick close up, show you what you get, and we'll have a little flap on the other side of it.
Alright guys, well this is the close up of the KTS mechanical mod. Looking very shiny there. I did give it a quick little polish because I had all my fingerprints all over it. But basically you got the bottom down here, which is holds your pin for your positive and your spring. It's only a very small spring, but it is quite a stiff, tough spring. But this is one of the posts we actually sanded down to brass. Obviously, brass has obviously got better conductivity than the plating that's on top, and this is the button inside here, which obviously when you fire it, connects to your post and creates your connection, which obviously gives you a full circuit, which fires your atomizer, which obviously you got in the thing. Just be aware, guys, because of this post right here, you cannot put your battery in this end. It has to go in from the top.
I have tried several times, guys. It doesn't work.
I was going to mention that he has tried several times. I always wait until he realises. It is a little funny little thing, but basically, there goes the top. But your top comes off. Plonk your battery in, whichever size you want. That's a 500. That's pretty much the size you want. It does come out a little bit to be perfect for your 500 size.
Your 510 at the top's also got a well in it as well, isn't it? So if you flip it over,
yes,
it actually takes a bit of slack in there as well. So
We did also sand this little contact down here as well, because that was obviously plated as well. You can see it's a little bit roughed up, but that is down to brass just to create a better connectivity with your battery and that. But this little ring can come off, which Mr. Pronto did show you it before. And you can connect to that one, which basically just gives you a different kind of style, because obviously this is your brass and this is your plated right here. So that's that.
Or alternatively, you can have the silver over, can't you?
Yes, you can, yeah. You can keep the silver on, but I think you have to take it off for the 350 if I'm correct.
You have to take it off for the 350, yeah.
For the 350 you have to go right down. It is a smaller battery obviously, guys, so... there we go.
This thing's super miniature in 350 mode. I mean, like, I don't know if you can gauge that, but it's smaller than a 30ml bottle. It's absolutely tiny. Really nice and small.
But if you are looking for a small mechanical mod, that is definitely a stealth ape right there. But it's a...
You can actually tighten it up a bit more than one massive. I think
Yeah.
make them lines completely flush if that's what you choose to do.
Just like that.
There you go.
There's a tiny little gap there, but usually you can't see that with the with your plain eyesight basically. But
I think also certain batteries as well that you use as well.
This, I've been using it in 18650 mode, which is the preferred mode for me. It's a little bit tight with some 18650. This one is a little bit tight, but it does wiggle a little bit, just enough, so it's kind of safe-ish.
These are big batteries. I mean, these are protected 3400 mAh 18650 Panasonics, but to be honest with you, 18650 is a bit optimistic. It's more like 18670, and it's more like 18.5 if we're honest.
But for you guys out there with the kick and that, you have not got enough space in there with a kick in the 650 mode. So
unless you want to show quite a bit of thread.
But it will guaranteed work with this or this size, so you're all good there. But that is pretty much the KTS. It's very simple. Oh, that's your small locking bit. Literally 2 turns and you're locked. 2 back, you're unlocked. Obviously that's firing now. But that's pretty much it. Also, you've got your air holes there as well, just in case your battery does vent. It's just above the button, so you might catch your finger, but if it catches your finger, you're going to drop it quick.
Indeed.
So that's...
Put out the channels on the top as well for flush mounting.
Oh yeah, there are slight channels.
So you can flush mount on this bad boy, no problem whatsoever.
No ego threading though.
No ego threading.
Which isn't a good... It's not a bad thing, but it's not going to bother us with the devices we use. So, but yeah, that is the close-up of the KTS. We'll pop back up now and you can see our beautiful faces.
Ruggum handsomeness.
Ruggum handsomeness. See you in a bit, guys. Right, guys, obviously that was the little show and tell of the KTS. Hopefully we didn't miss anything. So 3 is a 510.
Obviously. A few things we should point out, guys. One, 21mm mod, which I think personally is a little bit of a shame. I'd have really liked them to have put that extra millimetre on there to make it a 22, but it is what it is. So your Argus, your K-Funs, RSST, all that kind of stuff is going to have a fractional lip, but it's enough to annoy me. Basically, I'm not going to lie to you. It is. I've said to countless amount of times, I wish they'd made it 22, but they didn't. A couple of other things to point out as well, whether it's by design or not, I'm not entirely sure, but the centre pin does move. I actually, like I said, we pulled them out basically to sand them off. How it works is your top one, if this is a bit that's in your 510 sitting flat like that, comes down, it goes into a V with some silicone around it, and then the bottom one is just basically a brass section and a pin that fits into that V. As you're screwing one section up, so if you're screwing your battery up, it will force the pin up slightly, and equally with the ATI, so loosen it off, screw your ATI in, and then tighten it down to get yourself flush. Otherwise you might notice, it's pointless me showing you, it's got a spring-loaded centre pin, but
it is slightly adjustable.
There is a certain amount of play in there, which is a good thing. How much play, I've not been able to flush any device so far. Everything I've put on it has been able to be flushed, so there's enough play in there for every device that I own, and I imagine yours.
So basically just loosen your device off from your battery, put your device on, then screw your battery straight back down.
Indubitably. There is a fair sized word in there as well, guys, if you do have a drip, which I had an issue with earlier. I forgot about it and I pulled it all on my hand, which is good. And your air channels, when you are sitting flush, they are there, which again is good. So if you have got something that's sort of air fed from the bottom, that you can flush them out, wicked. The only other thing to point out, well, several things, but the main one is this is an absolute fingerprint and scratch magnet. You may have seen it in Worms in the close-up, and his is in a little bit better condition than mine, and and it does just attack any little knocks, scrapes. It's going to show them fingerprints. It's going to be a nightmare. And brass, obviously, so you're going to have to maintain the brass over time. So it is what it is. But for a touch under 13 quid,
buy yourself another one.
Indeed,
if you're that bothered.
Pretty much. But it's a touch under 30. I mean, in this country, to get them, buy them in the UK, I've seen them as low as £23, £24, which I still think is a good price. But for 12 quid, we wasn't expecting miracles. We both like the way it looks.
This is the old KTS, isn't it?
The old shape.
Yeah, the old shape. Because obviously on FastTech they do have the newer shape with the cone at the top, if you prefer that, and they do have the complete chrome plated one as well.
But the top section of the chrome plated one does look off colour to the rest.
Yes.
And also Neil, one of the guys on our Facebook and subs or whatever else, he said to me the other day that he's just started to discolour on the silver one as well, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. Prices do vary depending on what one you get. The one that's got the coned top, personally I think it looks a hell of a lot uglier than this does, and it's actually more money as well. Sorry guys. From FastTech. It's not loads more, it's like a quid or two, but still, why would I pay more for something that in my opinion looks worse? I like the fact that this is one sort of shape the entire way up and then off at the top. I like my mods to sort of blend well, which is why I wish it was 22. Nothing I own is 21. I don't know anything of 21, but I mean the lip is so fractional that most people aren't going to be bothered by it. Your Igo W, your Igo L, they're all 20mm. Your AGIs, your Arga T+s, T2s, RSS K funds, they're all 22mm mods. So it's only half a mil either side, but it's enough to bother me. What's that you got there?
The AGR.
AGR. As we did mention, you can kick it, which is obviously a big bonus.
Just not in 650 mode.
Not in 8650, but to be honest with you,
no, it's a lip the other way this way.
Yeah,
it is literally like a mil and a half.
Doesn't look that AGR actually comes in slightly at the bottom either. So yeah, find something that's going to fit perfectly flush if that's that kind of thing that bothers you. Not ideal, but for the money, what can you say? The reason Worm and I sanded those contacts off is because we knew they're going to conduct better. We've seen reviews, we've spoken to people, we knew ourselves that brass is always going to conduct better than your chrome dipped anything, doesn't matter what it is, just anything chrome dipped. It's going to be brass underneath. If it's a contact in any mod, every one of my mods has been sanded down to brass just because it makes a bit of contact.
I think even on the 19 you actually replaced the actual top spring with a pin which was complete brass screw.
Everything brass. It makes, I mean, to be honest with you, the only things you get in that will conduct better than brass is silver, gold. It's as simple as that. So why?
And to be honest, if you want a silver mod, it's going to cost you a lot.
I don't think they exist.
They probably do out there. There's probably some custom dude that will probably make one for you, but why would you want to pay that money?
This gives me a chance quickly to show you one of my new toys. Got this yesterday. What this is a tankometer. For those of you who don't know what it is, you've probably seen it in Mark's reviews, but if you haven't, then I'll show you what it does. But basically what this does is for mechanical mods, you attach it to your device like this, you can push the button and it will show you the battery remaining. So in this battery I've got 4.04 volts left, which is basically a full charge battery. But you can also test it under load. We will do a little separate review on this quick 10-minute one. What I've got here is a dual core 1.5 ohm Kato, and this is the Kato we're going to use to test all these mechanical mods, just so we can show you the drop off. But please bear in mind obviously that we did sand these off, so conductivity is going to be better. On this 3.69, 3.79, let's see if we sit somewhere, 3.76, 3.73, so we'll call it 3.75-ish, give or take. Just want to make 3.78, yeah, so we'll call it 3.75. So we're talking, quick math, a 0.29 drop off under a 1.5 ohm load, which I think is actually very respectable for a lot of mods that don't achieve that. For such a cheap mod as well, I think it's very, very good. And we can both vouch that this thing does actually kick quite well. It does perform. Well,
let's put this, when this turned up, we was both using the 19s at the time. Before we even sanded these down, we literally plonked something on top and it instantly kicked better straight away. We then sanded it down and it even kicked even better than then. So to put that in perspective, don't get me wrong, the 19 is still a really good mod, but this just performs better, unfortunately.
To be honest with you though, guys, this is sanding this down. It's not like certain mods where you've got to really break your back to do it. Sorry. Sand this down, you literally pull that bottom bit out, just a bit of sandpaper, rotate that in your hand with the sandpaper around it. That's not particularly difficult at all. I know quite a few of the guys that are on our Facebook group who have got these mods have done this. No problem whatsoever.
We have the added bonus, obviously, we have a workshop at our disposal, so
we can use and abuse it as necessary.
Yeah, it literally took us though like 5 minutes. I mean, I used a bit of 120 to get the plating off, and then 180 to actually smooth it off.
My contact actually looks a bit dirty with juice. Do you want to test yours with the tankometer? Yeah, it does look a little bit dirty, guys. Sorry. This kind of stuff, again, if you're going to sand your contacts down to brass, any old contacts really, just now and again will need to clean them up.
Got to maintain it.
Have been abusing this.
No, it's on that side. Our battery's quite low, I think. Yeah,
3.67, but if we stick it under a load, the drop off in load shouldn't really be too effective. 3.47, so we're talking a 0.2 drop off on the worms with a cleaner contact.
Mine seems to hold better, doesn't it? Probably because of cleaner contacts.
Because of cleaner contacts, yeah. Mine was skipping around a bit, so I mean, there you go. But the 0.2 is 0.29.
Should I put a fresh battery in there?
If you want to stick a fresh battery in, you can do.
I think I've got one.
Whilst worms toying with that, if I give those to you, so you can test the battery and test the ohms. One thing I do want to mention very, very quickly, I know it's been a problem for a few people. The centre pin in there, I don't know if you'll be able to get a clear shot of that without the light on it, but the centre pin in there is quite a wide centre pin. It's not the widest I've seen. The Vamo is about the same, maybe slightly wider. But where a couple of guys, in particular with the RSST Jenny tank, have been screwing it down. Now the RSST, you've got your screw prong in the middle, and as you tighten it down, you'll get an adjustability in the centre pin. If you're going to use your RSST on this, then screw that out so you've got your centre pin sticking out slightly RSST. The mod will pick up the slack if you loosen off your battery, so don't worry about flush mounting. The problem is that the centre pin's wide enough that without that the centre pin's actually sitting inside of the 510 connection at the bottom, and now and again making contact with a metal part of the 510, which is the negative, giving you a short. This happened to Neil, it's happened to Steve and Gaynor as well, I believe. Basically what happened to Steve was he fired his with the short and actually melted the spring in his, and Steve's been getting burnt fingers through hot buttons and stuff, so just be aware, guys. I mean, you can get fuses to insert to protect you from shorts. I personally don't use them neither as worm, but if you're worried about issues like that, then just beware. If you're getting hot buttons on anything, something is wrong. Have a look at take it apart, so see what you can figure out. If you can't figure it out, drop us a little link on the Facebook group and see what we can do to help you out if possible. Right
guys, I've got a fresh battery in now, I think. Yeah, 4.14, so that's pretty much full. That's holding 4.14 there. Let's see this in. 3.88.
3.88. Okay, so what's that? That's now 1.6 drop off. These numbers are absolutely useless, obviously, guys. But we're getting we'll call it a sort of around a 0.2 to 0.25 drop off. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. We're using the same Kato. We're going to do this with all the mods we do from now on, just so we can give you some kind of idea of conductivity and drop off. But in terms of figures, I think more than respectable. With a battery that's reading sort of 3.14, if it would only drop off to 3.88, that's less than 0.2. Under 1.5 ohm load. I'll test it quickly. I'll test mine quickly on this. This is a 0.9 ohm coil I've got in this dripper at the minute, so obviously I'd expect drop off to be quite a bit more. Mine is reading. Mine's reading 4.03. This battery. So if I now screw this A onto it, I am now reading 3.61, so I'm dropping off by about 0.4, but that's under severe load. That's under 1 ohm. It's a sub ohm coil in there, so you're going to get respectable performance at this, I think. And when you throw the cost of it into equation, I think it's a very, very well performing device. And again, we've noticed it hits really well.
Yeah. I mean, just spend 5 minutes, a little bit of sandpaper. I mean, you don't have to do what we did, like get it down to a fine grade sandpaper. You can just get in there with probably say about an 80 at most. Very lightly rub it down, and you're going to be rubbed down within 5 minutes at most.
Yeah.
So
it's not a particularly difficult thing to do. I know some guys don't want to, and again, if you don't want to, it's not a bad performing mod whatsoever. It does give you the power quite well. It does kick quite nicely.
It was kicking about the same as the 19 as standard.
I would say it's easily sort of 20-30% better once them contacts are sanded down the brass. What you do is up to you though, guys. It's your mod, it's your money. You do whatever you want to do. We're just giving you the information as best we can in the typical fashion, which is poorly.
Which is roundabout several times.
Indeed. We do have a sort of 5-point hit list for this kind of stuff, and we will run through it. Yeah, looks is the first one. So do you want to hit first?
Yeah, looks. Oh my Jesus. Yummy. 10. It just is a 10. to be honest, I thought the bottom button was going to annoy me a little bit, but I got one because I wanted another mechanical other than the 19, and for 12 quid you couldn't really go wrong. But when you actually get up close, I mean, on the pictures the button looks huge, it really does. When you actually get it, it's tiny. It is so tiny. I mean, literally, you can either use it for a finger button press, or you can put it in the palm of your hand and just squeeze the device itself. It's a 10 for looks.
Looks for me, I'm going to give it a 10. A couple of things to be aware of, guys. The same as all telescoping mods, you will get some ring marks around here where it telescopes. And as Vern's pointed out, the button, I wasn't sure I was going to get on with the bottom fire, the Swedish side bottom firers, but actually really nice. And again, as Vern pointed out, you can use it however it feels comfortable to you. A lot of the time I'll have it in my palm and I'll just squeeze. You do whatever feels comfortable, but it is a lot more comfortable to use than I imagined it was going to be. I'm actually sort of coming around to this probably being my preferred button placement. And after having the 19 for quite a while and abusing that thing, it's nice that I've not once had a semi-fire, misfire, nothing. You push it every time, it gives you everything. With a 19, certain places you hit, it doesn't seem to perform quite right.
You can kind of generally get used to pushing it in the middle on the 19, whereas this is just push that button down.
Push it anywhere and it'll make contact, and it'll give you a very good contact as well. So that's wicked.
Usability, well,
it's a mod.
It's a mechanical mod. You haven't even got to adjust anything on it. You just literally got to put the battery in, screw it on, and that's it. All you got to do is remember, undo that lock-in nut on the actual fire button. That's pretty much it. I mean, if you do sand it down, obviously you got to be aware of keeping that brass a little bit cleaner than you would anything else, because it does seem to attract dirt like anything. But other than that, it's literally once every 2 or 3 weeks. Just get a little bit of cloth on there, or a little bit of sandpaper again. Just give it like 1 or 2 scrapes across, get rid of that dirt. Done job. So yeah, 10.
I'm going to give it exactly the same as no point me going and delving into the details. So mechanical mod, you put the battery in, you screw it, you put the battery in, you screw it out, you on, you telescope it down, you push your button, sorry, and you're vaping. It really is very easy to use, and it doesn't really get any simpler with any kind of mechanical mod. It's just plonk, 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 done. I mean, if you're going to do what we did and sand them off, slightly more work, but
you're only looking at like a week earlier that you've got to wash those contacts down, because brass will pick up a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Maintenance, well, it all depends on how much you want to maintain this thing. I mean, if you want to keep it sparkly clean and all that, you have to probably give it a good buff in a day and make sure you treat that brass right and other stuff. But that brass only has to be treated like every couple of months or so. It's not going to be like a daily chore, but you might want to wipe it down with a cloth just to keep rid of that excess that does build up, fingerprints, grease, anything. It will just attract it like anything. So, but then again, you don't need to. I mean, I didn't wash mine until literally just before we done the close-up, just to get rid of the fingerprints on there, and it was still performing exactly the same. So yeah, it can either be a 10, or it can be an absolute arse for you, and you treat everything, and it can be a 5.
Maintenance for me, I mean, one point that's absolute fingerprint magnet, and you've got anything chrome plated like this, anything even polished steel is going to be the same. It's going to be absolute magnet, and you're going to have to put some work in if you want to keep it pristine. But that is what it is, and it is the same on all these kind of mods. The only thing that's going to sort of make maintenance take a knock, for me anyway, and this is if you do what we did, is having to maintain in context a little bit more, which again Worm pointed out. The standard sort of chrome dip ones, you just have to sort of, it's almost like a white clear surface, whereas chances are with these brass contacts you have to get a little bit of solvent on it to clean them off. Honestly, I'm too lazy for that. I'm just going to sand it off each and every time I clean the contacts. I'll just take a bit of sand, bit 180, rush it over twice, and that's it. It's going to be a clean contact again.
Yeah.
But again, that is if you choose to do what we did. I would recommend sort of, if you do that, if you want the device to perform as well as it can, but it will perform very well without doing that. So it's totally up to you. It's just I like to.
I think it's also a case as well, if you actually want to be having, if you've got sandpaper around the house, you could probably more want to do this, because it is going to perform better if you are chasing that perfect vapour, as we are, sort of thing. But if you are just literally want another mechanical, you can leave it as standard. It's still going to kick better than most others out there. It's really good. So
for the money, it's very good. I mean, I'd easily take that over the 19. Don't be wrong, it's not built as well as the 19, and which we'll get onto that now, which we usually do sort of build quality and price is our next bracket for mods. So I'll let you.
Build quality on this thing, the threads are nice. They're not the best I've had, but they are nice. The only other thing you can have got to undo this a little bit, is the only thing you may have to, the build quality, which is a little bit shaky, is just that small spring in there, just welded on top there. I can see that coming off, I really can. It's still nice. I mean, I don't think there'll be a problem, because you could probably just attach that without the spring, to be honest, just screw it down a little bit more. but it might not fit your smaller batteries. So, but other than that, it's actually really, it's well built. I wouldn't say it's the best built, but it's well built for its price. Compared to other mods without price being included, it's still okay built. It really is.
You got a number?
Yeah, for its price, I'm going to say 9, because it is alright. It's actually quite good, but it's alright. And compared to like other devices, where the more you pay, the better it's going to be built. End of story. This is £12. It's going to be built basically for about £12.
But
so.
we should point this out though, that these will be the same money. These will be the same build quality, even if you buy them from the UK. It's just you're going to be paying twice the price for them.
Yeah.
Build quality for me, the metals are, I'm not going to say superly thin, but they are quite thin. Okay, the metals are thin. Also, I do quickly want to point out as well, as I said to Neil, melted his spring. When you telescope this down to make sort of the way it is, you do have to compress that spring quite a lot, and it is a high tension spring. So sometimes you can feel like you have to over tighten it, although you're not. Neil spring did pop off, he replaced it, popped off again. The contact there that we sanded down isn't actually solid, it's a hollow contact, which I'm going to give a sort of a knock on build quality for, just because it wouldn't have taken a lot to make that solid. The only thing else I'll say you need to be aware of is if you have got a dodgy spring, or if you're one of these people that do seriously over tighten their mods, and I'm not going to sort of sit here and lie, I do tend to over tighten my mods a bit. Not loads, but I like it to feel solid, so I'm going now, and I could stop there, but I'm going to keep going. There, now it feels solid. If you over tighten this too much, if you're one of the people that will sit there going and bulk and grip it, you are going to have to be aware that that spring's going to take so much before it does give, and then you're basically screwing a battery onto a prong like that, and you could punch that battery. I know Neil's damaged a couple of his batteries for over tightening. It is the way it is. There's no rat or anything in the body when you do tighten it down. I can't really knock it, to be honest with you, in terms of build quality, especially when you consider the price. If I'd paid 15, 20, 30 quid more than this, I wouldn't be completely dissatisfied with build quality. If I'd paid 30 quid more than this, I would want a bit more, but paid £12.77p. I can't even go and get a drink for that anymore. You know what I mean? So for £12.77p, for something that kicks as well as this does, I think the build quality is spot on when you consider in this country even still it's twice the price, and I think that's still fairly well built for that money. It's not going anywhere. I like the fact that you can take this ring out and have it in all brass 18500 at the top, and then stainless sort of chrome dip brass at the bottom, or you can have it sort of chrome dip brass all the way, and you've got brass. It's totally dependent on what you've got. It's unlike you're going to have a brass 80, purely because they don't really exist for multiple reasons. But it's nice you can mix and match it. So build quality for me, for just in general, it's going to get a 7. For its price, it's going to get a 9. That's kind of where I'm sitting for those.
Yeah.
Overall,
would I buy this again? Yes. Would I recommend this? Yes. Do I want another one? Probably. You know, I mean, when this one starts to tweak on me, I'm just going to go out and buy one. It's not going to be a case of I could get something. It's going to be I'm going to get another one of these. It's a blinding mod for £12. 10. It just is. It's a 10.
Yeah, overall for me, I'm gonna. If you buy it, depends where you buy it. In my opinion, it depends where you buy it. If you buy it from FastTech, there are issues with FastTech about certain things being clones and certain things not being clones. I genuinely don't believe this is a clone, purely because I've seen KTS's, and this is, if it's a clone, it's a bloody good clone. You can't be told apart. But that way, I think this is a genuine KTS. If you buy it from the UK and you pay 25, 30 quid for it, overall for me would be getting a 7 or an 8. For the fact that we paid £12.77 for these things, it's getting a 10. It's getting a 10. The batteries that we put inside these mods that we've bought a few that are cheap, just to try them out, to be honest with you, would cost as much as the mod itself. It's just how it is. We should point out, guys, if we're talking about mechanicals, make sure you put in relevant batteries in there. Don't go sticking ultra fires and trust fire. Anything with fire in the title, forget about it. Alright, eFest, AW, Panasonic, Sony, them kind of batteries, yes, Nightcore, but anything with fire in it, it's not even worth it. I know there's been a few discussions recently on Facebook about kind of batteries, and this one costs 8 quid, whereas these 3 cost 8 quid, and why wouldn't I want 3 when I can? because you don't. Just take my word for this, and one will vouch for this. You use relevant batteries, especially when I know the intention is to probably wrap sub-ohm coils.
To be honest, I've got quite a few batteries now, and all of mine are either AWs or Panasonics. I think I've got one E-Fest.
You got one high E-Fest, and you got that one unbranded one, haven't you, which you never use.
Well, I never use it.
But
no.
it was a case of buying a mod. It was like £3, so
yeah. Basically, come with it, sort of thing.
If you're using your batteries in something like a Vamo or an SVD, it's not quite as bad because the chipsets have amp limits. So I think the Vamos is 6, I think the SVDs is 5.
Plus, if they do drop off a bit more, the chipset compensates for it and it knocks it back up.
I'm more talking about just running, because I know that people, particularly recently, have been buying mechanical mods because they want to run low res coils, so 1 ohm or below typically. It's worth checking your battery, make sure you know what you're buying. So the Panasonics, we've got a 10 amp, the AWs are 10 amp, the EFS are 5 amp. We know what we've got, we know how hard we're pushing these batteries, and we always make sure we're in the safe zone. But if you're buying something like a Trust 5 with a 3 amp limit and you're stacking to 18350s in a mechanical mod on 0.6 ohms, you're gonna hurt yourself eventually. if you've done that and you haven't already, you are lucky. Pushing batteries well beyond their limits is very dangerous. All right, you're asking for it to vent, you're asking for burnt hands and possibly exploding mods, depending on what you've done to them. All right, people don't necessarily use these as intended, but if you're going to change things, at least make sure you know what the realm that you're in. Should we have a little chat about FastTech whilst we're here?
Oh, we can.
We might as well.
FastTech is.
I just don't know what to say.
It's basically a foreign-based website. I think it's China, isn't it?
China or Hong Kong?
Yeah,
it's Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. It's a Hong-based website, and it's basically they'll sell pretty much everything that you can think of cheap. I mean, we're talking chips cheap. I mean, we've got like you got your dripping atty over there, which we will go into later on. But
we'll do a review on that.
It was cheap.
Very.
So much so that we're going to be buying another 5 of them each, just for juice reviews.
Because they perform like the Zeus, and those of you guys who have a Zeus and like the Zeus, £3.50, and it's bigger, holds more, and got a spring-loaded centre pin. It costs £3.50 for crying out loud.
A lot of their other drippers that they do as well are all adjustable centre pins as well. They are a screw one, but they are adjustable.
I think we are going to do a sort of FastTech video about just drippers, because we have bought between us now about. We'll do individual reviews on the ones that are worth buying, but we'll do one that's just drippers maybe to avoid or not worth spending your money on.
Because we did buy a few that
we bought 5 each that are just crap.
Yeah.
And we've had 2
but then again,
that
it
are
only
right
cost
hits.
us 20 quid each, and we got 5 drippers each.
And some other stuff as well, so it's all good.
But worst case scenario, we got 5 extra drip tips.
Indeed. FastTech, anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, worth pointing out, they do some things dirt cheap. Some of your stuff on there are not going to be genuine. Your eVods aren't going to be genuine. They do sell a lot of Smock stuff's coming on there, and at the price.
They got the Smock Nova on there.
They got the Smock Nova. They got the RSST.
They got the new Pyrex one as well.
They got the Pyrex one, yeah. So at the prices, we can only go by guesswork. We know no more than you do. If you're looking at them and you want to buy genuine, the best thing to do would be to contact the retailer, the distributor. So if Smock or Innocent or whoever, and say, look, all these products at FastTech have genuine. If they say no, then they're not. It's as simple as that. If you're that worried about it, but the Smock stuff I can believe is genuine at the price they're selling it for.
Just be aware if you do go to obviously FastTech, delivery times.
There's a reason it's called Snail Tech.
We literally ordered one and it took like a month before they even sent it.
36 days. Well, it got sent and then apparently got rejected by customs, then sent back to FastTech, which took them 2 weeks to tell us. Then they was like, don't worry though, we've upgraded your postage, which would usually cost you $1. And sent it out again, and that then took 2.5 weeks. We are the only ones who've experienced this. Unfortunately for them, out of everyone on our Facebook group, the people that got mugged off by the postage are the people that can actually make videos, or do make videos about this. It's going to be seen by a few people.
And they also had the unfortunate issue of dealing with Mr. Proton, because it was him who brought him. And when it comes to bitching, he loves it. And he was literally, some of the emails...
It's still going on. It's still going on now.
It was basically it was a fist fight basically going on over via emails, and it was just some of them we can't even put on YouTube because of what he said in them. So
I'm not that bad, I swear.
Yes, he is.
But just be aware, guys, if you're going to buy from FastTech, what we ordered some more stuff. Yeah, upgrade your postage. Spend the extra $1, which is like 60p. But we actually, it's a mixed bag with FastTech. First order was about 50 quid. Took a month and a week to get to us. Second order was more like 250 quid. We upgraded the postage, paid 20 quid, and it was with us in what, 5 days?
Something like that.
Which is more than respectable. So it's kind of both ways. It depends on how you're going to do it. The way that we look at FastTech is it's so cheap that if it takes a month, it takes a month. If you want things now, pay for them now.
I mean, one of the items we brought, which we'll do a review on later on, if you bought it over here, it would have been about, I think it depends on site, but it's about 65 quid to about 85 quid wherever you go. In retrospect, over there you could get like 4 mechanical mods and a couple of drippers.
And this device.
So
it is, I mean, again, you've got to watch out for the clones, guys. We will do a video about this just to let you know what we do know is genuine, what we know is not genuine, and stuff that we're unsure about, but even if it is not genuine, it's still worth buying.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones, but we'll link it for you in the description anyway if you want to go and check it out if you aren't aware of it. It is very, very cheap. They do a lot of stuff on there. I mean, in terms of electronic cigarette sales, the amount of products they've got, you could add pretty much every site in the UK together and still wouldn't amount the amount they've got on there.
They do also do some really cheap juice, but expect really cheap juice. It's not the great, but it will get you through if you're looking for like some emergency stuff that can sit in the cupboard that you don't want to spend a lot of money on. 3 quid I think it is for like a 30ml pot, so
it's very cheap. They sell Hanseng, Decang and Liqua. Now me and Worm were about this, which is why we ordered some. We're not, to be honest, I'm not particularly interested in vaping Hanseng.
No, we're not going to do juice reviews on this.
It's not for a juice reviews. We wanted to test the authenticity of it. Now we ordered a Liqua that we tried. The taste is close. It's not like I remember it, though, I'm not going to lie to you. And we also ordered Decang, a couple of Decangs, and one of them we hadn't tried before, and one of them we had. The one we had tried before was nothing like the Decang.
No.
So again, liquids I was still clear of them. The only reason we tested them is because people were saying, do you know if these liquids are genuine? I'm going to say no.
But the liquid I had of the strawberry was exactly the same.
I wish we didn't try liquid strawberry in the UK.
Did we not?
No.
But what did it taste like then?
I've no idea.
It was the floor one we had, the strawberry floor.
Hanseng.
Oh, yeah.
Tastes like Hanseng.
It tasted like
the
Hanseng.
Decang tastes like Hanseng strawberry, but
is what it is.
With juice, guys, I mean, I wouldn't even bother. If you want to buy cheap juice, you can get cheap juice in the UK. There are a lot of sites. I mean, E-Smokeless is one site. I know that John's juice is all genuine. He's got a banging service. His products are more than reasonably priced, and you're always going to get the same every time, and you can guarantee it's been safety checked. Right, this is the main concern with Chinese liquid in general that everyone would have read about, heard about, watched videos on, whatever else. Chinese-based liquids. It's one of the reasons why. One of the claimed reasons why MHRA want to jump on electronic cigarettes, because they want to make sure that everything is regulated properly and so on and so forth and blah 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 blah.
Which isn't.
It's not a bad thing, but the way they're doing it isn't the best.
No, they've gone about it the wrong way.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I wouldn't buy liquid from them. We only bought it just to make sure that, or to see if we could distinguish whether it was legitimate or not.
They're close, but they're not.
But I mean, don't get me wrong, the Liqua one seemed more genuine than the Decang. The Decang one is just not Decang. I don't care what they say. FastTech, take me to court, I don't care.
No, I think I got the Decang raspberry, didn't I? And it doesn't even taste like raspberry. It's just got no taste to it.
I got the Decang Red Bull, and it tastes like a bit of Red Bull that someone dropped in mud. It's just stay clear of the juices, in my opinion. Some guys will go, yeah, the juice is good, the juice is good. Okay, but for £3, what do you expect? I'm sorry, but for me personally, and this is just me personally, if you're vaping mods and drippers and this kind of stuff, then you're going to want juice that you enjoy and not just something that's going to get you through constantly. I'd rather have one bottle of banging juice than 3 or 4 bottles of
crap,
mediocre juice. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if this is just our opinion, but I really don't think it is. I think a lot of guys share this opinion. Let's face it, if you're buying juice and not mixing it yourself, because you can mix juice yourself for about £3 a bottle, and it's going to be far better than the crap that we got from them.
Yeah, definitely. Other things you can get on there are a lot of other things that aren't even vaping related or anything. There's some neodymium magnets. If you want to look into like magnets, they're quite reasonably priced on there. You've got RC cars, RC helicopters. You've got survival stuff. You've got tablets, everything.
Fucking everything.
Anything you can think of is pretty much in there somewhere. And if it isn't, it's because they can't make it cheap enough.
Indeed. I mean, your customer service does suffer slightly. I think they
yours
just
did, anyway.
no, not in terms of delivery. I'm thinking in terms of communication. I think you get one email a day, which is why this email argument between me and FastTech has been going on for so long. Because to have a 45 email argument's taken like a month and a half. So I don't expect brilliant customer service. Don't expect quick dispatch times either. Certain things will be you order it, bang, it's out the door. But they're not one of these sites that will remove something and say out of stock when they haven't got it, which is weird because some products they will say out of stock when you add it to basket, but most of them will let you add to basket, and then it'll be a case of they'll tell you when they're ready to ship, so a week or 2 days or whatever it is. So just be aware that if you order from FastTech, don't expect a quick delivery on that bad boy because you're not going to get it. You're looking at everything going well, and if you pay for the expensive post, 6 days. Realistically more like 10 to 12 days, and if you have a bad one and don't pay for the expensive post,
half and half.
It could be a month and a half. Alright, so just order it knowing this stuff, guys, if that's where you want to go. But they've got some incredibly cheap products. It's up to you what you do. Alright, we will buy bits from Bob's from there just purely because we will. It's as simple as that.
We look at it like we can go and spend 50 quid on something or buy 20 things and wait 3 weeks.
To be honest with you, with me and Worm, it's not a case of we buy stuff that we need. I know a lot of guys will have 2 or 3 A's or Clearos or one of each, and they'll have a Varivolt mod or a winder or something like that, and they'll have a mechanical and whatever else. So you literally have what you use indoors, and you have something you take out with you, and that's your lot. In which case, fair enough. With us, we just have compulsive buying habits. That's what it is. So if we
as long as we know something's coming, we can stop buying stuff for a little bit.
Yeah. Pretty much, and it's not just that, but we can go on there and spend say 60 quid and get loads of stuff to play with. Some of it will end up in a bin, some of it end up given away, some of it end up in a drawer, and some of it will be stuff that we use all the time. It's just the way it is, but you can buy the same products in this country and it's going to cost you 4 times more. So for us, doing what we do, and it's because of what we do, why we do what we do, if that makes any sense, it's because we do this that we will spend this that we'll spend the money and just. We know that you guys are going to want to spend the money anyway. We're quite happy to take a punt on 3 mods if we think one of them's going to be alright.
Yeah.
Because we can then go, right, well, them two are maybe ones to avoid, in our opinion, and this is a good one in our opinion. But each to their own, guys. If you're happy with it, then go with it. It's as simple as that. They are sending a lot of stuff.
We always say it's your money and your devices. Do what you want with them. You can take our input and use it, or you can take our input and go over there just as idiots and leave it. We don't care. We really don't.
Yeah, we're just trying to do what we can do to help you make your decisions a bit informed. But as far as this goes, whether you're buying from FastTech or the UK, I'd recommend that. I'll put my name to that for sure. Definitely. I don't think it's a bad mod at all, and I'm really enjoying using it. It's
we should go to a mod at the moment.
It is, the Skelly 90's not been actually touched in about a week and a half since I got it. There's a couple of others that I have been using, but it does perform really well, and the bottom fire button is just something that I didn't think I was going to like and actually really do. So it is what it is, guys. And we've got a tank meter to test all these mods, which is wicked. Are we done? We've been having a flap now for what feels like a good 15 minutes. Whatever. Indubitably, start the video was slow and we've just gone into a complete
as we do.
Indeed, so this will be probably entitled KTS plus flap.
Yes.
But yeah, guys, check out FastTech if you want to. We'll link it for you. Facebook and Twitter will be down there as well. Come along, follow us on Twitter. We're more active on Facebook than we are on Twitter. Twitter's more of a when people contact us, we'll go on there.
Don't forget, you've got 2 days left of the AGT competition, so get yourself over to that video and put your name down or AGT in the comments and get yourself on the list for potentially winning one. Actually, we'll quickly go into that quickly. With the AGT, we're going to be giving away some mesh, some ribbon, and some 32 gauge cantful. So you're all ready to go and have a little try with it. There's enough there to have at least 10 or so re-wicks with each bit of wire. So, and you've got 5 bits of mesh, or 5 or 4.
We'll probably chuck some other couple of little bits and bobs in there as well, guys. I don't know what yet, but you may get a little surprise. We don't know.
No.
But as soon as we decide who's got that, probably on the 15th, we'll stick it in the post the next morning and should have it hopefully, if not by the weekend, a very early post on Monday.
Yeah.
So sweet. Right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Mr. Proton. This has been the Worm. See you soon.